Stories are a part of our lives. They're how we make sense of the world and communicate our experiences. They're a way to connect with others, explain concepts and learn about different cultures. Whether they're told around a campfire, passed down through the generations, or written in a book, there's always someone out there who will enjoy it. Some are happy, some are sad, and some are just plain weird, like the Mabinogion. But no matter what kind of story it is, they can take us to places we've never been before, introduce us to new and interesting characters, and make us feel things we never thought we could feel. That's what makes stories so special, and that's why we love them. In this month's 444, I'm sharing 4 stories that I think you'll love. The Starfish Story, the Rocks, Pebbles and Sand Story, the Mexican Fisherman Story, and the Picasso Story. Hey there, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name's Hugh and I'm a retirement specialist and money coach at Proposito Financial Planning based in the heart of the Cotswolds. And on this channel we explore the strategies, tools and money habits that help us make the most of our life force. That's our time, our energy and our ability to live a life with more meaning and more happiness. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Right, let's go. A young girl was walking along a beach upon which thousands of starfish had been washed up during a terrible storm. When she came to each starfish, she would pick it up and throw it back into the ocean. People watched her with amusement. She had been doing this for some time when a man approached her and said, "Why are you doing this? Look at this beach. You can't save all these starfish. You can't begin to make a difference." The girl seemed crushed, suddenly devastated. But after a few moments, she bent down and picked up another starfish and hurled it back into the ocean. Then she looked up at the man and replied, "Well, I made a difference to that one." There's a well-known story about a university professor that wanted to make a point about the importance of prioritising how we spend our time. The professor stood in front of his class with a display of items: a large empty jar, some rocks, some small pebbles, and some sand in a cup. Next to them was a steaming pot of fresh tea. He took the jar and filled it with the rocks. He then asked if the jar was full. The class agreed that it was. Next, the professor took a few handfuls of the small pebbles and added them to the jar and gave it a little shake to move the pebbles into the open areas around the rocks. The professor asked the class again if the jar was full. And once again, they agreed that it was. This time the professor took the cup of sand and poured it into the jar, filling the spaces between the rocks and the pebbles. He asked again, "Now is the jar full?" The class laughed and agreed that this time it was full. This jar represents your life. The big rocks signify the really important things in your life, such as health and family. The pebbles are the other things that matter in your life, such as work and school. And the sand signifies the remaining small, not so important stuff. Now, if you were to reverse the order of filling the jar and add the sand first, there would not be enough room for the rocks or the pebbles. The same principle applies to your life. If you spend too much time on the small stuff, you won't have enough space or time to focus on the things that are truly important, the big rocks. Then one student near the back raises a hand. "Professor, what's the significance of the pot of tea?" "Ah, I'm glad you asked," replied the professor, as he picked up the pot and poured the contents into the jar. "You see, no matter how full you think your life is, there's always room for a cup of tea with friends. So prioritise the big rocks first, practice self-care, spend quality time with the people you love, and the rest is just pebbles and sand. And they'll always find some space. And if someone invites you for a cup of tea, say yes." An American businessman was standing at the pier of a small coastal Mexican village when a small boat with just one fisherman docked. Inside the small boat were several large yellowfin tuna. The American complimented the Mexican on the quality of his fish. "How long did it take you to catch them?" asked the American. "Only a little while," replied the Mexican. "Why don't you stay out longer and catch more fish?" asked the American. "I have enough to support my family's immediate needs," the fisherman said. But the American then asked, "What do you do with the rest of your time?" The fisherman said, "I sleep late, fish a little, play with my children, take a siesta with my wife Maria, stroll into the village each evening where I sip wine and play guitar with my amigos. I have a full and busy life, senor." The American scoffed, "I'm a Harvard MBA and I could help you. You should spend more time fishing, and with the proceeds you could buy a bigger boat and with the proceeds from your bigger boat you could buy several boats, and eventually you'd have a fleet of fishing boats. Instead of selling your catch to a middleman, you could sell directly to the consumers, eventually opening your own canning factory. You would control the product, processing and distribution. You'd need to leave this small coastal fishing village and move to Mexico City, then LA, and eventually New York City, where you'll run your expanding enterprise. The Mexican fisherman asked, "But senor, how long will this take?" To which the American replied, "About 15 to 20 years. "But what then, senor?" The American laughed and said, "That's the best part. When the time is right, you would announce an IPO and sell your company's stock to the public and become very rich. You'd make millions." "Millions, senor. What then?" The American said slowly, "Then you could retire. Move to a small coastal fishing village where you would sleep late, fish a little, play with your kids, take a siesta with your wife, stroll into the village in the evenings where you could sip wine and play guitar with your amigos." Picasso was at a Paris market when an admirer approached and asked if he could do a quick sketch on a paper napkin for her. Picasso politely agreed, promptly creating a drawing, and handed back the napkin, but not before asking for 1,000,000 francs. The lady was shocked. "How can you ask for so much? It only took you 5 minutes to draw." "No," Picasso replied. "It took me 40 years to draw this in 5 minutes." I hope you enjoyed those stories. We're trying to grow this channel so we can reach more people and help them maximize their life force. So why not subscribe? And if you like this video, there's a button specifically for that. I think you'll love my previous 444 that was all about the top 5 regrets of the dying, and you can check it out here. There's also a link to our full 444 playlist here. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.